In terms of when I first started getting into yoga and things like that, my diet and everything was, it was okay. I'm half American, so I do, have a tendency to like a lot of like sweet stuff, pastries, pizzas, baked goods, and that kind of thing. And when I was younger, I was a lot unhealthier. I looked very different. I felt very different, and even though I was quite fit, I never really bothered too much with my diet, which is quite different now. After I sort of got through my anxiety and I was enjoying my work a lot more, I was enjoying teaching my classes, I was enjoying leading sessions, it was a few years back where I started having pelvic pain. And after having pelvic pain, had to go to A&E, ended up finding out that I had a urinary tract infection. Had some antibiotics, cleared that, got over that, but then the pain still continued intermittently for a good few months. Long story short, I had it checked out and it ended up being a dermoid cyst, which is a big fibrous mass, and it was quite a large cyst. It was 9 centimeters, it was about the size of a grapefruit, and it was basically attached to my ovary. And it was really quite scary. My sister had the same thing when she was younger, and hers ruptured, and it was very life-threatening for her. So it was all very scary, and it was a really difficult time. When I went to go and get it checked out on the NHS, they said that they would have to remove the ovary, and they said that they would have to, open me up like a C-section and just sort of take everything out, which I was really worried about. I managed to find a fantastic doctor who didn't want to do it that way, who wanted to do it keyhole, who wanted to try and preserve my gynecological organs as much as possible, which, thank God, women's bodies are not to be just ripped up and torn apart. And that fantastic doctor was able to help me a lot. But during the process of inquiry and examining me with MRIs and scans and these types of things, they did find something else, which was another cyst on the other side of my ovary, which was an endometrioma, which is cyst caused by a condition called endometriosis, and that was what I was diagnosed with at that time. So endometriosis is a chronic illness where the womb lining grows outside of the womb. It can grow outside of the womb in the pelvic cavity, and for some women it can end up in the bowel or the stomach or the bladder or other places. It's very often misdiagnosed. It can be really debilitating. It can cause infertility, and at the moment, with Western medicine, there is no cure, and many women just continue to have many different surgeries, which comes with its own host of problems. When I was diagnosed with this, it was scary and it was shocking, but I decided to make my way through it. Alongside these things, I'm also a Reiki practitioner, so I do energy work, and I mainly do it for myself and friends and family, and I gave myself Reiki every day. And after I had the surgery and recovered, I started to feel better. After a few months, unfortunately, I had a little dip. I started to feel worse again. My mental health was a bit on the fritz, and I ended up having a really bad sort of flare-up relapse of the endometriosis. I grew more cysts, I was in pain, I lost a lot of weight, I couldn't eat much food, everything I eat wasn't staying in my body, and that was when I realised I really had to make a health overhaul. It wasn't just about making sure I wasn't anxious. It was about understanding my mind-body connection, understanding what I was eating was contributing to my health, understanding how my emotions were contributing to myself, and even working through past traumas that I feel were stuck in my body and figuring out how to release them. And it was a major process. I did a lot of self-work with my yoga, with my massage. I got some amazing massage therapists to help me out, and I decided to change up my diet to become predominantly plant-based. And so when I engage with people and they say, oh my gosh, Lildonia, like, how do you refuse that cake or that cookie? Don't get me wrong, I still do eat cakes and cookies, and I think a lot of you will see that. I often post on my stories and on Instagram the nice vegan food that I'm eating. But I never want to go back to that state of illness that I was in, and I want to always continue to work towards a place of health. So for me, the main reasons why I do what I do is because I remember where I've been, And similarly with the anxiety, having been diagnosed with this chronic illness and going through this process myself, it's been able to help me better serve my clients that I work with. So for me, going towards this journey of health isn't about punishment or restriction. It's about knowing how good life can be and how good I can feel in my body, and also how bad I can feel in my body, understanding the difference, and then always sort of striving for more, for health, for abundant feeling in mind and body. And to be honest, that's what really inspires me, and that's what keeps me going every single day.